Okay, we are just under a week away from SteelFist 101 coming on August 10th. Today I am joined by Marcus Hackford from Brute Force Fight Academy. We're going to be going over the full fight card, starting with the first fight of the night, a kickboxing match. We have Caleb Webb coming out of Progressive Defense Tactics, located in Heber, Utah, coming in against Joey Scott from Tooele Mixed Martial Arts Academy.
Yeah, man. I don't know much about Caleb Webb. I know he's making his debut. I know he's a third-year-old man that's coming in and just trying it out, man. And then I've actually watched Joey Scott. I want to say SteelFist 97. I can't remember right from the get-go, but yeah, man, he's coming out to Tooele Martial Arts, and yeah, man, like he's a solid young kid, and he has some great footwork and really great striking. And I love how he mixes up his combos.
Yeah, his last match against Momin Madi, they both seem to be really skilled competitors between the two of them. I think it was just his pressure and his output, which was really the thing that got him the win. And same thing for me. Don't know much about Carson Webb or his team, so excited just to see how he's going to turn out. We're moving on to our next match. We have Logan Shell coming out of M Power Fitness in Sandy, and he's coming up against Robert Trevino out of Tooele Mixed Martial Arts Academy.
Same thing, man. I know Robert's making his debut, but with Logan, I know he's 1-0, and pretty sure his last fight he was able to get the TKO win by leg kicks. So I'm pretty sure like 19, 20 years old. So it's kind of cool to see someone like that young being able to pull something off like that, because you only see someone finish someone off with leg kicks and like the high level pros and stuff. So it was kind of cool to going back and watching this fight, and I'm like, oh, dude, that's pretty sick. So yeah, but besides that, man, I don't really know much about Robert. But who knows? You know, sometimes those guys that don't know, like we don't really know, or the guys who come out banging.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Trevino, coming out of Tooele Mixed Martial Arts Academy, which is a fantastic gym. Definitely a step up in competition from Logan's last opponent, who I think was independent. Generally, if they're coming from a reputable gym, they're a lot better. But Logan is just super talented. I have had the chance to go and train with him. He can stay long and technical like he was in his fight, using his jab and his leg kicks really well. But he also has the capability to brawl. I mean, me and him traded quite a few brain cells when I was able to go and train with him. So he's super well-rounded and super skilled for being only 19 years old. He's got a good future in front of him. And we are moving on to the next matchup. We have Marconis Alves coming out of Empower versus Caleb Jordan from Colossal Fight Company. This is going to be an MMA match. Marconis Alves. So Empower, so far we've only seen them compete in Muay Thai and kickboxing, but this will be, I guess, probably their first. Actually, no, because they have Chow Wing. So this will be one of their first MMA fighters that they're going to have. He has a grappling background from back in his youth, and he's a blue belt. As of for Caleb Jordan and Colossal Fight Company, I've had the chance to go and train with him as well. Colossal Fight Company located up in Pocatello. Super great jiu-jitsu team. They have some pretty good striking out there as well. So we're excited. You know, he's making, or I guess he actually has a 1-0 record. Were you able to catch that fight by chance?
Yeah, I just know he won by unanimous decision. And then I know that he's a second degree white. Oh, not well. I guess yeah, technically second degree white belt. So where with Alves, I know he's a blue belt. So I kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know much about these guys. But it's like I said, dude, it's always cool seeing these youngsters that are like 19 years old, 20 years old, get up in there and stuff. And I think it takes a lot of courage for Alves to get up in there and make his debut, man. You know, anyone that's willing to step up in the cage, you know, has a lot of my respect. So.
Yeah.
Pretty excited for this. Since it's the first MMA fight of the night. So, yeah, man, we'll see how these two match up well against each other.
All right, we are moving on to fight number 4, taking place at bantamweight. We have Solense Rapone coming in against Christopher Boone.
I don't know much about Christopher Boone. I know he's trained down there with Fusion. I don't know if it's under Aaron Reese or not. I know he's making his debut. Or with I'm gonna butcher his name. Rapone, not how you say it? His last name?
I think. I could be wrong also.
Yes. Yeah, Rapone. I know he fights down there at Fight City with my boy Zeke, Zeke Latu. Shout out to you, man. But I know he's 0-2 right now. I know his first fight it didn't really go his way, and I know this last fight it was a barn burner. It was really close. Uh, I know he loves to stand and bank, and carries some great power, man. So it's gonna be really kind of intense, seeing how younger Chris Boone handles that. So
Yeah, so I want to say, so yeah, his first match, he was thrown with a ton of power. He just ended up getting caught by I think it was a check left hook. And then his last match, as you're saying, yeah, the super close fight. He did come away learning lessons from that, which is the most important thing. Is he realized that he was a little bit too patient in the third round, which he believes is which was what cost him the fight. So constantly learning, constantly working with some really good people over there at Fight City. And Fusion Academy, they've always turned out to be a super solid gym, so this one will be another fun one. All right, now we are moving on to somebody who you are familiar with, Mason Hansen from Brute Force, currently 0-1, coming in against Julian Gomez out of Tooele Mixed Martial Arts Academy. So tell me oh my goodness, tell me a bit about Mason and what he's been working on here.
oh man, what hasn't Mason been working on? Man, that's one thing I can say about the dude. And I'm not trying. I know I have two teammates on this card, man. So I'm really not trying to be biased when I say these things. But I know for a fact Mason, if not every day, every other day, this kid will run 5 miles. So he's focusing on his cardio. Um, he's yeah, I know his last fight, he got subbed. But going back into the gym, bro, he's like his motivation has just turned up because he wants that. He wants to get back in there. He wants to show what he can do. And for being just a blue belt, his stand up, like I love working with Mason because he's long and lengthy like myself, and it's like getting those reads from him, just alone, like it's like the best thing for me. And just his motivation though for this fight is going to be intense, especially with Julian Gomez, who's a really strong, heavy hitter. And I know, and with Julian, I know that his last fight he was able to get the decision nod, and uh, and he has some really good pressure and like I said, really good power behind him. And it's just gonna be really a clash of matchups here, man. We have a strong wrestler that's heavy hitter with the nasty jits guy that's long and lengthy and that has some speed behind him. So I'm excited just because not only is my boy, but it's just this fight stylistically is gonna be a good matchup.
Yeah, no, it's looking good, and I'm excited to see more from Mason, making his debut against Derek Jorgensen, who is kind of on the brink of title contention as is right now. That's a hard debut to make, so I'm excited to see him rework those tools and come back and work against Julian Gomez. Moving on, we have our first and I think probably our only female MMA match. We have Kiani Benelli coming out of Absolute MMA up against Ebony Knight from Catch Valley MMA.
Oh, I know. With Nye, she hasn't fought in a couple of years, and I know that with Ben Nelly, her last opponent was teammates with Nye, so there could be a lot of work done right there that from the last fight where it's like, hey, you be my teammate, now I can learn from someone. But I did go back and I watched both of her fights, and with Nye, I loved her high pace in that fight. I know it was a kickboxing fight, so this is her debut, but I know that with her kickboxing, it was a high pace. Really, the way she mixed like the combination in with her kicks and stuff was really really cool. And with Bellinelli, man, that was sick. With that knee bar, I know she carries a good right hand behind her, and to get a finish in the first round, your debut in 45 seconds, it's pretty solid, man. Especially when you're 21 years old, and it's just I know I haven't got a finish yet, but I know I guaranteed something like that, man. I bet she's gonna be riding off some what's the name of the word?
Momentum.
Some hype.
Oh, hype
Yeah,
got you.
momentum.
Yeah, that's another one I'm super excited for. Okay, moving on to middleweight, we have Luke Blanche from Powerhouse MMA, currently 1-0 against Tristan Wetke out of Fight City, who is currently 0-1. I've had a chance to train with Tristan a little bit for this fight camp. Super strong wrestler. He even showed that in his previous match. And I mean, Luke Blanche as well was able to show off his wrestling background. He's a wrestling coach as well. And he was able to snag a pretty quick submission. Have you seen much about either one of these two guys?
Yeah, I know with Tristan, he's 0-1 and he lost that decision, but I loved the wrestling he was showing and how durable he was. He was getting caught on the stand up and just kept just kept going, and I feel like in the sport of MMA, man, that's kind of what you have to do. And actually, my brother actually grappled against Luke, and he says he's never felt that type of strength before. And when you have a cool like a MMA vet and Sean Powers, coaching you, it's definitely gonna be useful in this fight, especially when you have two strong wrestlers going at it who both carry big power. This is gonna be to me, I think, a wrestler delight, but also when you think it's gonna be wrestling, it's someone's always gonna catch someone on the stand up. So
yeah, it kind of
who knows, man? I'm excited for that one.
kind of cancels each other out, and they end up striking. So, all right. So this next one, Benjamin Franklin coming against Chance Ishmael. Ben Franklin, another teammate of yours. So go ahead and take it away for him.
Yeah, man. The founding father. Yeah, man. Ben's riding a hot streak right now with two finishes in a row. His record's 3-1. He hasn't. His only loss was to an injury, and he's coming from kind of dropping down from light heavyweight. I'm trying not to be biased because he's my teammate, but Ben's just a tough dude, man, and he's so quick and he's so just durable. And it's like I can catch him with a good combination. He'll deliver one right back to me. So. I don't really know much about Chance besides that he trains down with Utah Misfits with a couple of guys kind of like us. And I know he made his debut at 190 or like a catch weight, kind of like a short notice, I think. I can't remember for sure, but both these guys are making their 170 debut, and this is gonna be fun, a fun little scrap, because I know Franklin's last two fights have not only been against his teammates, but he's got fight of the night in a lot of people's eyes. So I'm excited for this fight for sure.
I definitely agree. Fight of the night when he fought against Damon Hunter, who's Chance Ishmael's opponent, or sorry, Chance Ishmael's teammate. And Chance, he actually recently, just over the past couple of weeks, has been coming in and training with me. So he has a lot of natural talent. He has a lot more than he was able to show in his last matchup. Some super solid fundamentals. I'm excited to see how he's going to come out and train. Always this kind of goes for everybody. I wish I had a little bit more time to have worked with him for this matchup, because Ben is a tough, durable opponent with very strong grappling, and he seems to hit really hard. So this is going to be a super fun matchup. For either way how this goes, both these guys are going to have their opportunity to come out and show their improvements. Ben Franklin, time after time, making incredible improvements for every fight that he's had, and Chance Ishmael is gonna have his chance to show this as well.
Yeah. And if I can add just one more thing, man, the thing I love about Ben is that we can drill the entire camp. We can make his whole game plan, and he will follow it all the way through. And it's like, just for being this young in the sport, only being this, now I guess this is fifth fight, to have that that IQ of kind of listening to your coaches and stuff. It's like it's pretty, I don't know. I have a hard time hearing these guys when I'm fighting, and for he read everything that we call out, he's always doing it. So yeah, man, this is gonna be a good fight for sure.
Moving on, we have a amateur flyweight match. Chris Carrillo, who is currently 2-1, coming in against Hector Martinez, who is 2-8 right now. Hector has competed at a ton of different weights: 25, 35, 45. He's back at 125, which everybody thinks is probably the best weight class for him because I think he walks around at barely 130. He's incredibly strong. He has like a bench press of at least 225, probably even more by now. Super solid wrestling fundamentals. He just has not been able to string everything together as efficiently as we would like. He trains kind of by himself, just in a garage with a small team. And he's making improvements. He keeps on fighting. His record is against the best guys in the state consistently. People who are in title contention, people who have titles or have held titles. He's taking these fights against tough competition and falling short. This fight, I think, is a little bit more of a fair matchup for Hector. Chris Carrillo is still an insanely gifted and insanely skilled fighter as in his own right, but going in against guys like York Ash, who just already has a long career in grappling, I'm excited to see Hector hopefully be able to come out and show a bit more of his game. Chris Carrillo coming out of the pit. Do you know much about this kid?
Oh yeah, he's down there at the pit, man. I think that should just kind of say a lot itself. Training down there with Ramsey and Dominic Sells and my boy Julian, coming from a good gym. 2-1. All of his wins are by submission. For being 24 years old, he has some pretty legit. He has good jits and good power behind him, and some really good takedown defense. But I can't remember if I watched his first fight or his second fight, but it was just the way he was crafting, the way he was moving was pretty slick. And I have a lot of love for grappling because that's where I came from. But with Hector, man, even though don't let the record fool you. He might be 2-8, but that's like how you said, he's been fighting the best competition here, and to fight in 3 different weight classes, and for only being 23 years old. He's still a young cat, man. He already has 10 fights of experience behind him. So he's a tough, durable kid. So I think both of you guys have, to me, don't have anything to lose. So it's going to be a little, fun little scrap.
All right, moving on. We have Dominic Williams representing Snake Pit MMA coming up against Hal Mitchell now, who's independent. Hal Mitchell, it's been a while since he's been in the scene. I believe it's been almost a decade. I could be wrong about my math. I think his last competition was in 2014. But stepping in on short notice to face Dominic Williams, who's just a phenomenal grappler, was on a little bit of a tear. Hopefully going to recover now from his previous loss where he lost by submission to Donnie Ferris, who's just on our next card. So we'll go ahead and jump onto that next one.
Yeah, man, I don't really know a whole lot about Hal Mitchell, just besides he hasn't fought since 2014. He's 2-1. So it's gonna be interesting how he comes up against a guy like Dom, because I know Dom not the best, but I know him well enough that I'm a big fan of watching this fight. So because he's gonna bring it. But one thing I do know about Hal is his grappling is pretty solid. He's a good sturdy wrestler, and it might play an effect with Dom's last fight, and then in a loss by submission. But who knows, man? Because like I said, I'm a big fan of Dom. I think he brings it every time. He has a 100% finish rate behind him. I love his boxing. I love the way he moves. I love the way he brings it. So yeah, man, I think it's gonna be a good stylistic match between the two. So.
And then fight number 11, a lightweight matchup coming in against Donnie Ferris versus David Than out of Bernali's Institute of Martial Arts. What do you know about these two guys?
Besides the fact that they're both fun to watch, with David Than, man, he reminds me a lot of John Dodson. The way he moves, how explosive he is. He has some really good stand-ups, some really good jits behind him. Same with Donnie. He has some really slick stand-up and really good jits. And I even have it marked on my notes that this is going to be a fun fight to watch. This is the fight to watch, because I think both these guys stylistically are they're like the same fighter, but they're not. So I feel like when you have two guys like that, it's gonna be fun, man. They're both 2-1. They're like identical. So just besides the height, Donnie does have a few inches on him, but yeah, man, I feel like this is gonna be a fun fight to watch between the two of them.
Yeah, that's something that you even were bringing up again, or similar to the matchup of Mason Hansen versus Julian Gomez. One person, dominant wrestler with powerful striking, versus another person with super slick jiu-jitsu with slick technical striking. Yeah, I agree. This is going to be a super fun matchup. I'm really looking forward to this one. All right, moving on to our co-main event for the light heavyweight vacant championship. Kendrick Wolf, currently with a record of 5-5, representing the Pit SLC, coming in against Patrick McKinney, who is fighting out of Agema. He is 3-2.
Yeah, man. Well, both of them are my good buddies, man. Patrick, he's happy birthday, by the way, Patrick. He's really strong, really good wrestler. He has a current win over Kendrick. So you know, he's just so damn tough, man. He's a good person, and he's just a good fighter, man. I could go on and on about Patrick. Same with Kendrick. Like, I've been watching Kendrick since his first fight, and that's one thing is that they're both quick. They're both heavy-handed. They both have good jits. They both came down from heavyweight to light heavyweight. Um, it's just, oh man, I'm excited for this rematch because I talk to him pretty frequently, and with Patrick, it was hard for him to get opponents to fight him. The champ prior to who kind of vacated his belt, Patrick was trying to fight him, and Kendrick's down to fight anyone at any given time. Just give him a date and he'll show up. So I think, and I know their last fight, McKinney had the win over him. I know Kendrick had a pretty crappy weight cut, which can play, a big effect on your performance. But he still went out there and still did whatever he could to get the win. But I think this rematch is going to be a barn burner for sure.
Awesome. And then we are moving on to the main event. We have Mitch Olson, currently undefeated, coming in against Trace Tuckett, who is also undefeated, for the middleweight championship. Go ahead and take it away for this matchup.
Yeah, man. Mitch, he's the champ. So I'll kind of start off with him. He's 3-0. He has an athletic background. All three of his fights, he's shown that he's a good wrestler. He carries a lot of power, and he's shown that he's not afraid of a firefight. The one thing I do love about Mitch is that, every round that starts, the second round, right before he goes back to his sits down, he's calm, he's collective, he's listening to his coach, Kofi. Like he's like being the champ, and just taking everything in and listening. And he's a champ for a reason, man. And where with Trace, man, the thing I love about him is the way he moves, his footwork, the way he brings it. He's shown that even though he's been caught and took down and put on his back foot, he's shown that he can still deliver. And yes, really good stand up, and he's fast on his feet, man. So I'm excited. I'm glad SteelFist put this matchup together, because this is going to be one fun middleweight fight for sure, and a good main event to end out 101.
I agree. I'm super happy to see Trace Tuckett back. Most of his fights, I believe, have been at 170, or maybe even all of them have been at 170, coming up to 185. Mitch Olson mostly has been a very dominant wrestler, but he showed in his last fight against Johnny Henderson, where he won the title, that he has striking capabilities. I think he was able to drop John Henderson with a punch before finishing him out with ground and pound. And Trace Tuckett, I have a lot of questions about Trace Tuckett, because we haven't seen him face very much adversity. We saw a little bit in his last fight, but he has just been extremely dominant over every single one of his fights. So there's a lot of questions to be asked about how he's going to react to once he's put into a bad spot, or if he's so good that he's not even going to be put into a bad position at all, which is definitely a possibility with him. Super fun main event, super overall an amazing card. I'm really looking forward to it. I appreciate you for hopping on here and going over it all with me. And unless you have anything else to say, we will see you guys on August 10th.
Yeah, we'll see you August 10th. So.